Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio, episode 105. I'm April Perry, and here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are drowning in the details of their personal or professional lives to create simple systems so we can all do what matters most. Today we are talking about the 2-minute rule, and I'm going to highlight 10 things that you can do in 2 minutes or less. All of the details, everything we're sharing here, will be on our show notes page, which is learndobecome.com/episode 105. Now, if you've listened to any of our previous podcasts, you may have heard me talk about the 2-minute rule. I learned it from David Allen from his book, Getting Things Done, where he taught if a task takes 2 minutes or less, you just do it. You don't write it down. Now, that was a huge aha moment for me because prior to that, whenever something came to my mind, I would think, I got to add it to my list. And the list kept getting longer and longer. And so many little tiny tasks would just be left undone, or I think, I could remember that, or I write it down, and I just felt this constant state of overwhelm. And when I learned how to actually just start moving forward, it made such a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and just read 10 things that you can do in 2 minutes or less. And the goal is that as you hear me talk about these things, you'll start to identify things in your own life that you realize, I could do that. That's not that hard. And you'll create a new habit where you'll use that 2-minute rule on a daily basis, and you'll start building momentum. Okay. So number 1, log a receipt. Now, keeping track of our spending, I think, is a smart thing to do. But who wants to sit down with a big pile of receipts at the end of the week? Now, you may manage receipts in a separate way. Great. You might scan them. You might just file them. You might just look at your bank statement once a week. Great. But if you are just recording what you spend, this is something that is so quick, but is super, super helpful. Now, there are apps out there. There's one called YNAB, You Need a Budget. And logging purchases the moment you make them into an app like You Need a Budget or just on a sheet of paper, it's going to make an impact in how much you spend and how aware you are of your spending. And it's really great then to be able to go back and look and just see what you're doing. So when Eric and I were really, really carefully managing our budget, I had a little page in my planner, and every single time I made a purchase, I just opened up the page. I wrote down where I made the purchase, the date, how much it was, what it was for, and how I made the purchase. Was it cash? Was it my Discover card? How did I make the purchase? And one time I was at the grocery store and I was checking out, and the cashier handed me my receipt, and I immediately just opened my planner. I recorded how much it was, and then I put my receipt into the front of my planner, and I use Freedom Filer to file them when I get home. But the cashier said, "Wow, what a great idea. I bet that's really helpful." And I said, "Yeah, it really is." And she's like, "I just spend money all the time and I don't even know, and that I bet would really help me." So if you are wanting to change your financial circumstances, I guarantee you putting more focus on what you are currently spending is going to help. We're working on this with our teenagers right now because a lot of times they just think, I have money, I'm going to go spend it. And then we'll say, "Hey, do you know how much money you've spent on this category?" And sometimes they're quite surprised. And when we actually sit down and look at it, it's eye-opening. So log a receipt, record spending, that type of thing, 2 minutes or less. All right, number 2. Download Evernote to your phone. Now, there may be some OneNote enthusiasts out there, or there may be people who are like, I just don't like Evernote. I don't know who you are. People who don't like Evernote. No, I'm not going to create a divisive conversation here. But if you have not used Evernote yet, I love that app so much. You could download it to your phone and just try it out. 2 minutes or less. Evernote. Open up your phone. Go do it. It's awesome. And the reason I like it is because it captures text, photos, videos, screenshots, documents, voice memos, and more. And it can even search your handwritten notes. It's amazing. So anyway, 2 minutes or less, you get that downloaded. All right, number 3, find a product on Amazon. When a friend recommends a book, you think of a great gift idea, or you remember you were going to place an order for some new office supplies, there's a good chance you could do a quick Amazon search and add the product to your cart in less time than it would take to write down the idea and follow up later. Then you could either check out right then or save it in your cart while you think about it a bit. I'm not an impulse shopper, so I think that's a great idea. But then that product will be ready when you are. And if you decide you want to purchase the product from a local store or from a different vendor, seeing that in your cart will be the reminder to do so, or you could write it down later if you needed to do some more thorough shopping or investigating. But adding something to Amazon, super quick, super easy. All right, number 4, send a payment. Now, I was writing a check one time to my mother-in-law. She doesn't do Venmo or PayPal. And so I wrote, send check to Peggy 16 times on 16 consecutive daily task lists. And when I finally got around to doing it, the whole task was totally complete in about a minute and a half. So I spent so much more time just writing it and rewriting it than actually doing it. Now, this morning, my daughter had just gone on a little trip with my sister and her children. And we wanted to pay my sister back for the, hotel and the food and that type of thing. So we were going to send it by Venmo, which that was a lot more convenient. But my daughter came in and said, hey, Mom, I wrote down how much each of my meals were, and here's what it came to. And then we were just talking about how much we wanted to pay her. So I just opened up my Venmo app and sent it right then. Because writing it down or saying, oh, yeah, I'll get to that later, it creates this cognitive load. It's going to weigh on your mind, or at least take up bandwidth, when you could just get it done and move forward. Now, I had the money in my bank account. It wasn't something I had to save up for. It was a purchase we'd already decided on. There was nothing to debate about it. So it was just like a quick thing. But just getting things done, moving them forward, it feels so good. All right, 5th, delegate a task to your children. It is extremely common for our minds to feel weighed down with stuff that needs to be done. But we can often share those tasks with our children. Or if you have a spouse or a roommate, an assistant, someone who can help you, it's so nice to be able to delegate as much as possible. Now, we obviously need to look for age-appropriate tasks to delegate, but young children can fold towels, sort socks, collect trash bins, etc. And older children can prepare meals, run errands, organize cupboards. One of the things that we have in our home is called an I'd love to jar. We have a little pom-pom, those little fuzzy ones, and we add it each time a child responds to a request with, I'd love to. So when the jar is full, we'd celebrate with a treat or an activity, and our children love that. We've also done other little point systems where child will earn different points and they'll set up their own thing they want to be earning points towards, and we'll work on a little system for that. So fun. But delegating is really important. Now, when our children were younger, it was more like, okay, I would delegate specific things like, hey, please go take this trash can out to the garage or something like that. Now that our children are teenagers, it's more like, here's our chart for Saturday jobs. Spencer's always in charge of mowing the lawn. He does a great job with that. Grace was always in charge of doing the fridge, right? Ethan was in charge of mopping the kitchen floors. We would just have these charts made, and that was great. That was more of a project, but a lot of times you can notice patterns in your 2-minute tasks, and you can create new routines or systems that will run themselves. So then you don't even have those 2-minute tasks popping up anymore. That obviously is really fun, really great. All right, number 6, extract a task from an email. Do you find yourself with dozens or hundreds of emails in your inbox that are acting as a quasi-task list? Now, if you can't respond to or handle an email within 2 minutes, simply identify the exact next step that needs to happen and add that task to a calendar or list to be reviewed in the future. That simple practice will keep your inbox clean and your task list complete, so you only have one place to look for the things that need to be done. And we have a whole podcast on extracting tasks from emails, so I'll include that link in our show notes page. That's at, again, learndobecome.com/episode 105. All right, number 7, start a brainstorm for a project. Have you ever felt paralyzed when something big was on your plate? I think we've all been there, but even 2 minutes brainstorming next steps will relieve your mind. For example, let's say you're moving out in a few months and you could use a mind map app or a sheet of paper and brainstorm the major categories you'll need to consider. And it might feel big, but things like, okay, decluttering the house, repairing the house, coordinating the packing, finding your new home, finalizing details like schools, utilities, doctors, and address changes. And sure, there's still a lot to do, but you can start to wrap your head around the scope of the project, and that will help you build momentum. We're setting up a little home gym area downstairs. We have a few weights and a few little things downstairs, but I want to add a few mirrors and I want to get some heavier weights, and I'm feeling pretty excited about it. And so it feels a little big, but when I can just sit down and say, well, let's just brainstorm the components for 2 minutes, anyone can do that. And then I can start to get a sense for how long it will take and what decisions need to be made. And maybe we could just start a little more simply so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Or maybe I could enlist help from Eric on some of this. And then it starts to feel more fun because it's not something I'm just wishing for. It's something I'm actively researching and considering and preparing for and working on. All right, number 8, identify a next action to a problem. Now, we're hit with problems all day. Someone said, what was it? It was some comedian, but he was talking about how said, I wouldn't want to be the president of the United States because they just wake you up and say, problems. And I was laughing with Eric. I'm like, I feel like that's how parenthood is sometimes too. You just wake up, it's like problems. But it's okay. We're hit with them all day, but we can choose to look at them as projects instead. So, for example, let's say you just got a new puppy and that puppy destroyed the carpet in your family room. This is a true story from our side a few years ago. So what's the next action on that? It could be research new flooring options next month. You could add it to your calendar as a reminder, a little trigger for next month. Or maybe your son's shoes are super worn out and they need to be replaced. So you could add new shoes to your errands list. So next time you're out running errands and your son's with you, you stop by and you can pick up some new shoes that fit your budget. Or if the dishwasher isn't draining properly and it's still under warranty, you could add call repair service to your phone call list, even finding the number for that repair service and adding it to your list. So when it's time to make the phone call, you're not like, oh, I don't know where the number is. You know you've been there. Okay, so instead of thinking, why me? Whenever we're faced with problems, we can simply ask, well, what's next? What's that next action? That is a really empowering way to live. Okay, number 9, renegotiate with yourself and cut your list in half. The way that you know your task list is too long is if you get a sinking feeling in your stomach when you look at it. Now, yes, we try to convince ourselves that everything has to be done right now, but that's not typically the case. So set your timer for 2 minutes and identify at least half of the things on your list that could be delegated, delayed, or deleted. You can do them later that same day if you finished the most important things, but chances are that the world won't come to an end if some of your tasks are moved into the future. It's our expectations that cause the stress. So renegotiating, simplifying your list, moving things forward, super helpful. It's going to feel so good. And then number 10, post a question on social media that will help you move something forward. I love social media because it's a way we can crowdsource. If you are friends with smart people or you follow smart people, which I'm grateful that I get the chance to have really smart friends and I really have found amazing people online I admire, then when I have a problem, I can go to them. Now, sometimes we procrastinate because we really have no idea how to proceed. So maybe it's a challenge with a family member, or maybe we're trying something new in our business. But chances are there is at least one person or group of people who could offer helpful advice on your next steps. So taking 2 minutes to post a very specific question, and I say specific on purpose because you don't just go out there and say, help, I'm having a hard day, because then everyone gets frustrated with you. You want to say, hi, I'm trying to figure out how to do XYZ. Do you have a good book you'd recommend? Or do you have any links that I should check out, right? You want to make it really specific. Okay, so hopefully as you're listening, some great ideas came to your mind. I hope that you will be able to implement this 2-minute rule into your life and make it a habit. We care about you being able to move forward on the things that matter most in your life. I feel like it's my personal mission to help you not to feel overwhelmed so you can live your unique purpose. And little tips and tricks like the 2-minute rule and using some of these tools I'm talking about, learning how to renegotiate with yourself, learning how to brainstorm projects, learning how to use next actions. This is all really doable. And these are game-changing. Even though filing papers and processing tasks and emails might seem like the most boring thing in the world, it is amazing what it will do for your mood, for your family, for your goals, for your energy level. Now, if you're brand new to Learn, Do, Become, come check out our free training at learndobecome.com/step. We have a program called STEP, or Steps to Everyday Productivity. There is an amazing Facebook group in our STEP Mastery community. So if you're in the Mastery program, please make sure that you are in the Facebook group. It is fantastic. People are posting wins and encouragement and awesome before and after photos and so many amazing things every day. Literally, I go into that group every morning and I am just floored. I'm amazed. I'm constantly showing my kids and talking to Eric, and Eric will screenshot things and text them to me and say, "Have you seen this?" It's so fun to watch what's happening in the group. We would love to have you there. But whether you're in our STEP program or whether you're here just absorbing the podcast and coming to the website and enjoying us on social media, we're so grateful for you. There are some really fun ways to connect with us. So you can find Learn, Do, Become on Instagram, just at Learn, Do, Become. We're on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Learn, Do, Become, all one word. And then we also have a YouTube channel that we're really excited about. We're going to be doing more to grow that. I'm just trying to do things at a pace that works for me, but come check us out on YouTube. I think I just made a link. Yes, I think it is. learndobecome.com/YouTube. I made a special link so you could just type that and it would redirect right to our YouTube channel, because YouTube channels are structured a little bit differently. But we're just thrilled that you're with us. And thank you. So good luck. 2 minutes or less. You can subscribe to the podcast if you haven't yet. So go to your favorite podcast player, subscribe. You could rate and review us in 2 minutes or less. We would love that. So appreciate that. And tell friends about Learn, Do, Become, because other people are drowning in overwhelm and clutter and feeling frustrated. And there's no reason. You don't have to be. There's clarity and there's peace and there's joy and order just waiting for you. And it's going to feel so good. Okay? All right. Have an amazing day. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.